and welcome to the Artist Behind the Music Aussie series. Today we have Eddie Rawk with us. He's joining us all the way from Melbourne, Australia. Welcome, Eddie.
How you going?
I'm so good. Okay, why don't you pronounce your name the proper way? My Canadian accent doesn't allow the elegance of it, so let's hear the real way.
Eddie Rawk.
Rawk. There we go.
Just think, Mickey Rourke, that actor.
I'm practicing my accent. I'm working on it. A work in progress, as always.
I like the variety of how people say it. It's all good. I like it.
Okay, cool. Like some people say McGraw is my last name when it's McGrath. So you just roll with it sometimes, right?
That's it.
But I think I got it there. McGraw is like rock. Anyways, I could talk about this all day.
Getting a lot better at it. I'm proud of you.
See, in like 2 minutes, I'm already getting better at my accent. All it takes is practice, just like music. So Eddie, tell me a little bit about your musical journey. What got you started as a musician? What kind of inspired you to start on the journey of music?
So it all started for me, I think, back to when I was 10 years old and I saw Michael Jackson at the MCG. And that's when I fell in love with music, and that was just really sparked me to want to sing and dance. And I was always a dancer growing up, and a singer at heart. But I started learning guitar first because I was a bit shy to sing, and I started learning guitar at the age of 12. I was a bit of a metalhead back in those days, but that taught me all the skills I needed to do, and converting to country was pretty easy after that. So yeah, pretty much through high school, I was playing guitar, and I started singing, doing singing lessons when I was 18, and learned from a classical teacher, which really just taught me how to use my body and sing, and have a big range, which was really, really great. And because she was a classical teacher, I used to show her examples like AC/DC, and I was like, I want to sing like that. How do I do that? And funnily enough, she actually showed me how to do it. Like those two different styles, were able to sort of cross pollinate, and I could still create a big voice from that. And that's the gist of how it all started. And I was a football player back in high school, and I sort of made a choice when I was about 17, 18. Am I going to pursue music or football? Because I was good at both. And I decided to go with music and formed a band when I was 18, and we started playing in the clubs in Melbourne and the pubs, and just never looked back after that. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So you have a band. How many people are in your band that you friends?
So yeah, COVID, because of COVID, we've had a few members leave.
Mm-hmm.
So which has been a bit tough, and it's been tough for a lot of people, and I think that has taken a toll on some people in the band, and they sort of left the band to be more with family and stuff, which is totally fine. So we've had a few member changes. At the moment there's 3 of us, and there's usually 5 of us. We got a drummer that is kind of half in, but we're rehearsing with him tomorrow actually, and if that all goes well, we'll probably have 4 members by then, and we just don't have a keyboard player, but we're actually considering just going with the 4-piece. We're not sure yet. We'll just see how it feels. But we do love the addition of keys in our songs. So
yeah, keys are awesome. But again, it's one of those, it's like a little sprinkle on a cupcake. The cupcake's great, the icing's great. Sprinkle just adds an extra little pizzazz when you need it, right? So
yeah. Well, and plus, you can always just put it in a backing track or on a sample.
Totally. Yeah. So. Exactly. So what are some highlights you've had as your band has progressed over the time?
Yeah, so when we started, obviously we started in the pubs and stuff, and just putting our originals here and there in the sets, in the cover sets we were doing. I think the biggest highlight was playing Tamworth this January, just the one past, and we played the year before that and the year before that, and just over the course of doing that festival, our crowd just got bigger and bigger every time. So I'd say January was a highlight for us. We were on a lot of momentum. We were really tight, and we'd have a sold out venues, lines of people coming to see us, and that's been awesome. A highlight for us. And playing festivals like the Whittlesea Country Music Festival was a big highlight for us. The Basin Music Festival has been another highlight. We supported, I don't know if you've heard of this band, the Australian band called the Choirboys.
No, I haven't actually. I'll check them out.
Yeah, they're really good. They're from the 80s. They're really big, and they got like this really big hit song that, you know, every wedding or pub plays it, you know, at the end of the night when everyone's pissed. But yeah, we supported that band probably late last year, probably about a year ago, when they were touring Melbourne. So that was a really big highlight for us and really grew our fans supporting them, which was great. So we're, you know, obviously wanting to get back into doing more of that stuff and building our fan base, getting onto playing supports and festivals. And we already got approved for a festival next year called VDM Fest in Queensland for next year. So
things to look forward to.
Yeah, it's all slowly coming back. So
yeah, which is awesome. It's been a super weird year. So how did you find, like, coming off of such a momentum and high? Like, you released an album at the end of last year, coming into the festival season, and, you know, everything was really big, and then we had this like, nope, just kidding, no more music. How did you find just moving through that and transitioning to more of a quiet space this year?
Yeah, it was tough, to be honest, and that really tested my resilience to, you know, adapt to what's going on. You know, so I have a strong vision of where I want the band to go, and, you know, I'm very dedicated to it. I spend a lot of time, you know, writing songs and, you know, running the socials and doing stuff and promoting the band, emailing festivals and blah blah blah. So it was just kind of like, you know, that's all sort of taken away from you like that, you know. So, and gigs are cancelled. So I had to sort of, you know, readjust, and it probably took me, you know, 2 months to sort of adjust to it. You know, what am I going to do next? And I watched a interview with Metallica, because I still follow them. I think they're great. And they were saying, you know, like if you can't perform, you should write, you know. And so I think they just released an album, but they said, well, we're just going to write another one, you know. So using that time to write, and so I've bought this really big notepad, and I'm a big fan of Bruce Springsteen. And I was watching, I just look up like all my favorite writers, like how do they write songs? I'd write Bruce Springsteen songwriting or Bon Jovi songwriting, and it would come up with all these videos. And I sort of started just watching them and just seeing how they do it, because I wanted to just get better at that skill. And I thought, I just figured I got this time, I may as well just get better at this skill of songwriting. So I bought this notepad and took all notes on all the videos I watched. And a few weeks later, I was just writing a song a week. And I've been writing a song every week for 3-4 months now.
Wow.
I just sort of set this goal. I'm just going to write, you know, one a week. And there's been weeks where I've written 2 a week, or I think the last week I didn't write one, but I just sort of took a mental break from it. But it's been really good that way. And during that time, we've had a few members, you know, call me and like say they need to take a step back from the band and focus on family. And so that was a bit tough, and like, oh, you know, we're losing members. Yeah. And, you know, basically I just, you know, said to myself, I just got to keep moving forward. And, you know, no matter what happens, you know, even if everyone leaves the band, you know, still keep going. You know, it's the song, because I believe it's the songs that, you know, take you places. If the songs are good, you know, you'll get the opportunities, and you know, people want to play your music because the songs are there. And the songs are the heart of what we're doing. So I just figured to focus on that. So, and during that process, we started sending each other files, like demos. Yeah. So I'd record a guide track of a new song I written with a click track, send it to the drummer, and he would record, you know, over that and send me the file back. And then, you know, I'd send it to the guitarist or the bass player. And we're just basically making our own demos like during COVID. And it was really fun.
That is fun. Hey, it's neat when we can find new ways to do things and kind of pivot into a way to still keep our creativity flowing during a time when maybe it seems more challenging to do so. So that's awesome. Yeah. Do you have any songs that really stood out to you over this time period that you're like, we have to record this one, or this is a hit?
Yeah, and absolutely. We'll play one for you soon. But yeah, what I did was once I'd written probably 8 of them, I just started live streaming them onto my Facebook page. And so our fans would just watch, and I would just say, you know, here's a new song I've written in the last month, and let us know what you think. And a lot of people would write, you know, I love this one. And there seems to be a trend of like the top 3 that sort of people like the most. Yep. So, yeah, those are the ones that I think will definitely make, you know, the next album or EP, whatever we decide to do next.
Excellent. Isn't that a great way to test out songs, just doing performances and showcasing what you've been working on? You can kind of, get a feel for how the audience responds and reacts. And it just kind of helps you guide your choices to, what direction you're going to take your music in.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's been great. And the feedback's been great. I had a lot of private messages and people saying, really great job on writing all the songs. And, it's good to be appreciated for it because a lot of effort goes into it, a lot of thought, a lot of energy goes into, writing songs and, obviously figuring out the music side of it, where it's all going. So
Yeah.
it's good.
Oh, that's great. Was there any cool tips that you picked up from watching all these different songwriting videos?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm always interested in how a songwriting process happens. Yeah. And in the past, I always wrote the guitar first, like the whole progression on the guitar. I probably would have the solo figured out before I do any vocal.
Okay.
But I figured out that way it's a hit and miss for me because I feel like, you got this song, but then sometimes it's hard to figure out a catchy chorus or something that goes over it. So I basically just flipped the script and I followed Bon Jovi, Richie Sambora and Bon Jovi, like they wrote all their big hits, Living on a Prayer and stuff like that. And even in a recent interview, Bon Jovi was saying, that he always starts with the title of the song. He always starts with a strong title. And like on his new one, it says it's called Do What You Can. And he was literally replying to his wife when he said, if you can't do what you do what you can, because they were running like this soup kitchen. And and so I just figured I'll start with that process and just would, I'd be speaking and I'd say something that sounds like a cool title and I'd write it in my phone. Cool. And then from that, I would just sort of start thinking of melodies to do with that title, words I can add to it and around it. And once I had a good chorus, I'd go to the guitar and figure out the chords, to that melody that I thought of in my head. Yeah. And then I would, obviously develop the story around it, write some notes on where could it go, story, like obviously in the verses, where could I go? And that's how it all started. Yeah, just with a chorus. And then would build the storyline around it. And then I'll sort of bring it to the band during Zoom and then we'd figure out, and I'd have a rough chord progressions, but then, the guitarist might come in and go, oh, what if we do this chord instead? And that'd help with the arrangement side of things. Bit of a team effort too. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I always love hearing different ways of songwriting and different inspirational tools that we can use as writers to, put towards our writing and our craft, because there's so many cool things and ideas out there. And sometimes we're just not exposed to them because we're just so stuck in our own way or in our own little bubble, right? Of this is how I do it. And it's nice to expose people to so many different ways. So I love that you hopped on YouTube and found a whole bunch of videos on songwriting. It's just so cool that we have this whole world of information just right at our fingertips now. So that's great.
You know what's great? It's a website. You can get them as an app, but Prime Rhyme.
Yeah.
And Thesaurus, those things are, I think Bruce Springsteen said, someone who has those things as a songwriter is, it's a deadly weapon.
It is a deadly weapon. Rhyme Zone is like my best friend. Yeah.
Yeah. Rhyme Zone. I love it.
Yeah, it definitely works. Definitely works. So you did a lot of live streaming. How did you feel performing to a computer screen rather than a live audience? What was the takeaway from your live streaming for your own feeling? Like, did it take away from your performance? Did it increase your performance? What were your thoughts around live streaming?
I think when I first, did my first live stream, it was very strange. Like I'm because I feel like, when you're into a camera, like you've got to smile more, or else it looks a bit dull. So, looking back on that first one, I was like, there's a lot to improve on. And yeah, I just feel like, when you're actually performing and it's on and it's streaming and there's just your phone, like I got my phone on a tripod. Yeah, it's just strange. Like there's no vibe. Like you're not getting hit with an energy, because I feel like when you're performing, it's an exchange between the energy you're giving and then the energy coming back from the audience. It's like this thing that, rotates around, and it's like coming back and forth, but there's none of that. So, and you're relying on comments to sort of get that energy back. Like,
Yeah.
and
Or like the
not,
little
not,
hearts or the
not
likes
the
that come popping up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think what I did was after like, 3 or 4 of them, I just started thinking, like, just pretend like it's a gig, and pretend like no, like there's people logging in that never seen you, like there's people that are coming in that's never seen this show. You've performed this song 1,000 times, but you got to play it like it's the first time. It's exciting, put all your energy. So I would just like put heaps of energy into it, and sort of just train my mind to just think that it's a gig, that it's like to 1,000 people, because literally like all my streams have got nearly, at least a minimum of 2K views.
Yeah.
That's 2,000 people that have seen a bit of your show. So you want every moment of that to be you're on, so.
Well, exactly. And I think a lot of times, people will tune in for a little bit, depending on how long the show is, and then, click on something else and then click back. And, so you do have to be on all the time, because you don't know who is watching at one moment. And that's so different than a live show, because in a live setting, people are usually there for the whole show. So they can catch the good moments. They can maybe catch the parts where you're a little distracted, but you can't do that on a live stream. There's less forgiveness.
Totally right. Yeah. And it's been a journey too. Like my setup is quite complex with the streaming. I'm running it through OBS and my mixer, and now I've got the green screen, and I sort of change up the imagery. So it's been a fun journey. Just like, I feel like my technology skills have gotten better. My mixing skills, like I've spent hours, like I would do a take, before I stream, and like sound check it, listen back on headphones, 20 times, just like doing a song, listening back, getting, tweaking the mix. And, to a point where I pretty much don't even touch the mix now. I basically just set up the tripod and play, and it's great, So
yeah, it's nice when you can have it all set up and it's like plug and play. Makes it a lot easier to go and do things, right?
Yeah, so it's been good, and thank God we have things like that
Oh
that
my
we
gosh.
can do,
No
that's
kidding.
something we can still connect with our fans, even during COVID, through Facebook live streaming. And so it's been great, so I just did what I can during COVID. I know I can live stream, I can write songs, we can send each other files, we can make demos, ISO. So we just did all those things, and tomorrow we get to rehearse. So
Woohoo! That's exciting. The
we
world's
have like
back over
15
there.
Yeah, and we have like 15 songs that we can workshop. It's gonna be. I just can't wait to like hear the songs in the room with like real musicians. So.
Oh, that's great. I'm excited for you. It's a good feeling. So when you have maybe those more down moments, how do you process them, and what kind of tools do you use to push through fear, or any obstacles, or any beliefs that kind of, talk in your ear, whatever it is that you might go through? What are your tools to push through?
Yeah, so I think in those moments, I a lot of things, I think, but one thing might be, it's pretty corny, but I might even think of like, it's like a movie like Rocky, like, is like those movies are quite, they're all about moving forward through adversity.
Mm-hmm.
And and I think even back to my own life, if I've been through struggles, like I've always had the ability to move on, even though hard things are going on. And it's a choice. I just sort of choose to move forward. And but there might be a few days there where I'm just like sort of soaked up in like, oh, can we do this? It's going to be too hard.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I always, I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins, for example. Like I listen to Tony Robbins podcasts, and there'll always be something in there that I can take away, that sort of empowers me to keep pushing through fear, and to face fears, and that sort of stuff. So, and I'm a big fan of personal development. So, and I'm pretty aware of like, if there's something I'm doing that I could do better, or, if I need more strength in myself, like I always go to something like that just to listen and just to learn and grow. So I use those tools, like listening to Tony Robbins, watching inspiring movies. I haven't read a book in a while, but I used to read a lot of personal development books.
Yeah.
To help me through things like that. So yeah, just reaching out to, because there's so many tools out there.
Right.
I went through a time where I was getting therapy, and just to become a better person and a better partner and all that. So yeah, just I just do whatever I can. I've got I lean on I got some great family that I can just call up and talk to. My granddad's always quick to tell me to just snap out of it, mate.
That's
Like,
funny. But yeah, it's good to have different outlets and tools, people to talk to, go to, resources to help you encourage to snap out of it or feel what you have to feel, face it. I think facing it is a huge thing in my world. It's like, look at your fear, and once you name it, it's not as big as it is when it's quiet in your head, right? Yeah, and then just keep pushing forward. I love that too. I think that's a super important trait, that persistence is key.
Yeah, there's a quote. One of my favorite quotes is, it's not how hard you can get hit, it's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Because that's the thing in life. Life is always going to throw you, lemons or do something, but it's your ability to take the hits but keep going, or put it into a song, write a song about it.
Totally. Write a song about it. It's that easy. Well, speaking of songs, let's hear you play a couple tunes for us.
Sounds good. Get the axe.
Just like that.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
I set up a bit of a loop before this.
Perfect. I love that. Love loops.
This one's called Good Times, which I wrote. This is one of the first ones I wrote in COVID. And actually, no, sorry, I wrote this one right before spring started because I was really inspired just by the sun being out, and it felt very gloomy. It was like COVID was all winter and bluesy, and the sun started coming out, and just sort of thinking about what I want to do, where I want to be, which is at the beach with my friends and my partner. And yeah, I sort of wrote a song about that, and sort of and it sort of talks about how I felt like I was mentally a year ago, where I am now, like in a better place. And it goes something like this. easy on the seashore. Radio won't play country songs with the margarita. With my good friends outside, my girl on my left, beers on the right, wishing that this summertime would never end. I live for the good times. I live for the good times. Oh yeah, yeah. I live for the good times. Whoa, whoa, I live for the good times.
Woo! Good times. I like that song. That's great. It's catchy. It's hooky. I feel like I should be, at a beach party or a festival, just having fun.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to play that one. That's been one of the favorites on the streams. So I can't wait to, feel the groove of the band tomorrow on that one.
Yeah, that's so exciting. No, it's great. I really enjoy that song. It's a good summer song too, when you guys are going into your summer there. So perfect.
That's it. Yep. You definitely will release that in the summertime or in springtime.
Yeah, that's great. Perfect.
Drinking a margarita.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I think I know what I want this evening. Except for I'll be looking at snow instead of beaches.
Oh no.
We have winter here now, so yeah.
I wish we had snow here. There is snow. There is places to ski up north, but where I am, we don't get the snow, unfortunately. But we get a hot Christmas. It's going to be a very hot Christmas here in Australia.
Yeah, I remember when I lived there, it was the hottest day of my life on Christmas Day. Like, I still remember how hot it was on Christmas Day. It's like burned into my memory how hot it was.
It's weird. All these American movies, they show Christmas like snowing, and we watch. I don't think there's any Australian Christmas movies, but it's like we don't get a Christmas like that at all.
No,
What's depicted in the movies? It's
very different. It's not a movie-esque kind of Christmas, but it's a beautiful Christmas with heat and sunshine and beaches. I will take that.
I know, right? I can't wait to get to the beach. We have like a 25 kilometer thing where we can't go 25 Ks away from our home.
Yeah.
We're like 5 Ks from any beach, like out of that radius. I'm like, oh.
Oh no. So you can't go. So would they just check your license? Is that kind of how it works? How do they monitor that?
Yeah, they probably just, put your number plate in and, look at your address and.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to get caught.
No, it would be, it's like a $5,000 fine.
Whoa, you definitely don't want to get caught. That's an album or a song.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it might be worth it to get to the beach.
Star. That's awesome. What other song do you have for us today?
I might actually play the next single that we're going to release. So this is actually already a recorded song that we have ready to release, but we're halfway through doing the video clip before COVID, and it was the next day. Like we're doing the video, and it's like everyone had their phones out going, "Oh, we're in lockdown tomorrow." So we didn't finish the video clip. And my partner was in it, and my partner's actually pregnant, and she wasn't as pregnant then.
Oh,
and now she's very pregnant. So
progressed in the video.
So we'll have to probably reshoot the next acting scenes. We're probably gonna have the baby in probably 3 or 4 weeks.
How exciting!
So
congratulations!
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, really excited. It's our first.
How exciting! Do you have names picked out?
Yes, we do. Yep. Yeah, we're all ready to go. We've got everything. We've bought, all the things we need, and he's all set up. It's a boy, so.
Excellent. Well, congrats. That's very exciting. Perfect time to bring a little human into the world now that, you're moving out of lockdown. It'll be a little bit more freedom.
So ISO baby.
Yeah, the ISO baby. That's awesome.
But yeah, anyway, this one's called One Last Time. So it's going to be our next single, and we haven't figured out when we're going to release it yet, but here's the acoustic version.
Cool.
A bit of delay on the voice. 2. All right. can't help it, babe. I want you now. One last time, babe. I'm coming over. Running the red lights just to see your face again. One last time, girl. I want you back. I need your lips on mine so I can breathe again. The fire burning deep inside when we touch tells me that there'll always be another one last time. One last time, baby, I'm coming over. Running the red lights just to see your face again. One last time, girl, I want you back. I need your lips on mine so I can breathe again. So I can breathe again. One last time. So I can breathe again. Woo!
Woo! Great
Thank
song. I like that one too. It has
Thanks
some
very
more
much.
emotion in that one, right? It pulls kind of at the gritty heartstrings.
I know. I didn't realize this one's a lot higher to sing than the other one. It's like, whoa, I should have done a warm up before that.
Well, good morning. You did great.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and yeah, that one's fun to sing. It has more emotion, and thought I'd choose one with emotion and one fun one.
Yeah, nice little variety. Well, it's been great having you on. Thank you so much for joining me and sharing your stories of music and playing a couple songs for us. I always like to end with this question. If you had one message to share with the world, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. Love your family and take care of yourself. I think loving yourself, loving your family, especially at this time, and being there for them. I think that's the message I'd love to send to the world, and just loving people. I think the world needs more love. As I look at the the elections, like the America's like in chaos, and just it's all about love.
Absolutely. It is all about love. The more love we can put out into this world, the brighter place it'll be, right? The more sparkly we'll feel.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my message, and thank you so much for having me. And I mean, I haven't done many interviews in my life, and you've been great.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Yeah,
I'm so glad I was able to have you on. This is amazing. I wish you all the best success for what's to come and releasing new music and, getting to play with your band again and all the fun things you have coming up.
thank you so much, and I'll be following you. I loved your single Game On, so
Thank you.
can't
So
wait to hear
fun.
more music from you too.
Yeah, coming soon, next year. Until then, we'll just keep on keeping on, and I'll practice my rock. Eddie Rawk on The Artist Behind the Music.